Before I get started and dive in, welcome to this Facebook Live, even if you're watching, let's say, the replay. Before we dive in, I just want to mention, don't take this video lightly. Don't just quickly watch this. If you want to watch this, please watch it all the way, because I feel this live is going to most likely evoke and activate something within you. So don't just distract yourself with other things. Either watch this fully present and fully, if you're here with me, feeling the waves, feeling the vibe, or stop it and do something else, because there's gonna be a transmission and an activation in this for you, if you want it. Yes, and secondly, just want to share the intention as I was just sitting here feeling what this Facebook Live is about for me is to rewrite our story and to change our trajectory. Literally, I want to change our collective trajectory around this. So this is specifically for all those of you, most of you, that feel like you want to share your gifts, you want to be more of yourself, express yourself, and we all know that when we do that, we have to face our fears. We have to step out of our comfort zone. We know that. Now, what I have never seen that much talk about publicly is about the collective fears that might come up. I call them collective fears, or about the past lifetime fears that might come up. So that's what I want to talk about today, because if there's something like that in your system, in your cell memory, in your field, it is stopping, blocking you, holding you back from expressing that truth, from sharing your message. And I'm sure I'm gonna name some examples later on that many of you are gonna recognize this. So also dare to share in the comments, dare to express yourself here. So I know I'm not alone, and I know I'm not alone, but also you know you're not alone. You're not alone in this. So to get started, I just want to share and start with my personal story around the past lifetime stuff that kept me from sharing my message. And this goes back to 2018, where I already had a business for a few years, and I was expressing myself, but I was seeing again, as always in my life journey, that I was hiding. And at that point, what I was mostly still hiding is being a spiritual being, is being a multidimensional being, is talking about things more invisible, more woo-woo. Oh, I love, Margot, that you're here with me. I'm sure you're gonna love this. So as I was imagining myself stepping more into the light, sharing more of who I truly am, there was just so much fear coming up. I was terrified to the point where I felt and believed that if I would share, that I would die. And there was no evidence of that in this lifetime, but what was coming up, let's say the visual, the first one I kept on seeing was if I would share my message, it felt like I would go onto this world stage and I would be so publicly exposed, as if everyone would be able to see me. And it would feel so vulnerable, because I always felt that someone would come and shut down my light, take me down, kill me. I would just be shut down. That's how it felt. Me stepping into the light felt like the light will be shut down. I will be killed. That was just the overall sensation. And it was mostly stored, let's say, my throat and my throat chakra. And actually that was connected to even a more specific memory, I call it, right? A past lifetime memory, where I remembered a time in which it felt like, that's how it felt, that my throat was slit open. As I was being a messenger, sharing, speaking truth, sharing what I believed in, that I was killed for that. My life was taken because I was expressing myself. And so in this lifetime, that was still active in my field, and it was holding me back from speaking, from sharing, from expressing myself. And over time, I'm speaking and expressing now, these things don't have to hold us back forever, but we do need to address them. Just like with any other fear, we have to look at these. We have to see that there's actually nothing to fear. But we cannot turn our back from them. We cannot be oh, it's past lifetime, or it's otherworldly, like it's not real, or it seems weird, like I'm not gonna look into this, like I'm not gonna face this. So that's what this is about. Yeah, one more thing in my own personal experience is that, as I was saying, like me stepping into the light, I always had a feeling, and this was like, felt like black shadows would come in, like that there was a dark force that would come in and shut down the light. So this is again referring to the battle between light and dark, and I'll go into that a bit more later. I'm looking at the side though, because I made some notes to like keep me a little bit on track here. Yeah. Another reason why we don't dare to share this out loud or publicly, we sometimes do one-on-one or we do it in like safe spiritual circles or whatever, is because we're so afraid that people will think we're crazy and that we're weird and that we're woo-woo, or mostly that we're just literally crazy. Because when we're talking about past lifetimes, when we're talking about these otherworldly experiences, it's not tangible. You cannot prove it. It seems like there's no proof for it. But here's the thing, what I want you to know, even if you don't believe any of this, to me it doesn't matter. What matters to me is that there's collectively so many people with similar experiences, with similar visions, with similar sensations, that even if it is unreal and even if it's untrue, I find it very interesting that so many people carry these seemingly memories. So let's just address it, let's just speak about it, let's just share about it, and look at it as if it was a real fear. Because it's the same thing. Whether it's a fear, like I'm afraid to be ridiculed because as a child I was ridiculed all the time, or if you feel like you lived in the Middle Ages and you were laughed at and ridiculed at, to me it's the same thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just address it so we can come back to the truth and free ourselves from this fear so we can express ourselves. Thank you for all those who are joining now or later. So I want to give now a few more examples that I've heard of, I've seen myself, or others I know. And again, these are to activate you, so you remember, so you can come up with things that you have experienced or have remembered. One that mostly women can relate to, a lot of women I know, is of course the witches being burned. So one of the main active past lifetime memories in women when it comes to expressing, sharing our truth, our message, our voice, goes back to that memory of the witches being burned, being on a fire stick. And you just feel like you were one of them. And of course that still lingers on and makes you terrified right now of doing that again. It's like, no, I'll just stay comfortable right here. I'm not gonna do that again. Another one is similar, it's just, I feel like in our human history there's been so many times that priestesses, magicians, healers, light workers, any of that type of being has been hunted down, has been repressed, has been shut down, has been killed. And again, you might feel like you have experienced that, you have been through that process, maybe even multiple times. The third example is, a lot of you might have what feels like memories of the times of Atlantis. And Atlantis, there's like two things going on. There's the beautiful era of Atlantis, which was magnificent and beautiful. And then there's the timeline where things went wrong. And with that, you might either have been on the receiving end, like being a victim of it, or you might feel like experiments were done on you, or some of you might actually have memories where you feel like you were a part of creating the destruction, whether it's in Atlantis or another timeline. And with these memories, what happens is that you become so afraid of your own power. So if you are afraid to fully step into your own power because you're afraid that when I claim my power and my greatness, that's dangerous, I might cause harm, I might cause destruction. There might be something lingering in your system of remembering a time like that, where you actually were the destructor, the one who caused destruction, the perpetrator, the one who caused harm. And again, it makes you afraid right now of your power. The next one, let's talk about aliens. Exactly at the time that Hilda is joining, it's just a similar thread. So far I just talked about examples of our human history, of the witches being burned, priestesses, healers, light beings. Atlantis was already a bit otherworldly, but I know some of you have similar memories of, in whatever form, but they just happened in another dimension or on another star system, another planet. You see yourself more in an alien form or an energy form, like whatever form it is, but it can have a similar theme. The next example is more a collective theme, I think, of the battle between the light and the dark. Now, let's just rewrite that. But this is active in many light beings, I think, and light workers for a very long time, where there's the light and there's the dark, and light workers have to bring the light forth, but watch out for the dark. So again, just checking your own feeling, your own system, if you believe in that storyline, if you're still afraid that when the light is gonna rise, that the dark is gonna come. And I'll speak to that in a moment again. And another one, last one, for an example, and this also just came to me right before the call, is you might have made a vow, a contract, a bond in a previous lifetime that is still active in a way right now. And again, a few examples is you might have made a vow as a priestess or a priest or something like that, where you are giving your life to God or to the gods or to a higher power. So you give your power away because you were in service, in devotion to that. Again, it can stop you from fully being sovereign and being in your own power. The other one, like I said, what just come up was, I feel that in the Middle Ages, there were a lot of blood bonds being made. Like literally would cut open our wrists or something, and a blood bond would be created, a vow, a contract that united beings forever. But this was not only romantic, like it literally feels like, let's say a king or a person in power would create these bonds with people, and like now there was a bond forever. And again, I've even talked recently with people who have those kind of vows, contracts and bonds. And at this point in time, I feel like lockdown is happening, and if you haven't done it, this is truly the time, the great purge, the great clearing, because in the new, we're not taking any of this shit, okay? Please do not take any of this shit into your next chapter, into your future. But again, it's important to first recognize how are you now being stopped, seemingly stopped, by these memories of the past, of past lifetimes, can even be future memories. And at this point, today, I just want to mention this, share these examples, and let it just activate you, evoke something within you. Knowing that that's the first step, let it bubble up, let it come up, let it be revealed, let it be seen. Knowing that there's nothing to fear. Knowing that there's nothing that can stop you unless you want it to. And I'll just already speak to the battle of light and dark, because this was one of the biggest ones for me. We gotta stop that story, okay? It's time to rewrite that story. And so what happens is we've been in this world of duality and polarity where there's a light and a dark, and many of us have identified with being the light beings, light workers, and I still use that word because I love the light. But just think about yin and yang. It's both. It's the balance. Light and dark come together. So what we are doing right now, what has been done already actually, we just need to download it into your being, into your field, is the unifying of light, dark, of white and black. The unification and the merging of both of these forces into balance. And then knowing that we can come from both, that we are both, and that there is no battle, that there is no force that can take over one of the other. And when they merge and balance, I feel like there's a higher power that can be seen, a higher light. So I would still say I come from the light, but within it, it holds the light and the dark in balance. So for me, I no longer have any of that threat in me of fearing a dark force is gonna come in. In order to do that, like, I have to separate myself. I have to think there's an opposing force. And truly there's not, unless you decide to play in that game. But again, we can raise up into the unification of it. If it doesn't make sense, just listen to the words and do the transmission that always happens. Okay, before I continue, just gonna check what Margot writes here. Ooh, sacred temple work. Completely underground. I'm just gonna open my Facebook on my laptop because it's hard to see on my phone. Yes. So, okay, so again, so many of the women I know have similar themes, have similar memories. Often it's connected to like sacred work, and it had to be underground. So here's the thing. At one point we decided, given what was happening in the outside world, that we had to hide, right? That we had to create secret societies, secret organizations. The truth had to be hidden. The truth had to come through different organizations. I don't know all the Templar stuff. I don't know enough of history. I just feel the energetic wave of, yes, we had to bring the truth and take it underground. We had to hide it. And again, all I want to do is make the connection that today, too many of you are still hiding. You are still hiding. And how can you know that? If you do not dare to share everything, for example, on Facebook Live publicly. Why? Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid to claim that you're a spiritual being? Why are you afraid to claim that you've been a priestess? Why are you afraid that you have an alien connection? Why are you afraid to share that you're channeling a being from another galaxy of a higher consciousness? Why are you afraid to share and claim that you are the one infinite creator? Why are you afraid to share all of your knowing? And scan your memory, your data bank, your field for any past lifetime memories that come up, for any otherworldly, weird, crazy things that come up. I swear, some of these things can be and feel really crazy. Yet, how do we know it's active? Because you feel it in your body, okay? This is why it's important, because your body remembers it as if it happened. This is why we need to look at this. Okay, I have not been killed in this lifetime. I have not been burned on a stake. Yet it felt like my body was remembering that. And so for probably 30 years, I was really terrified of speaking and sharing my message. And if you're 20 now, 30, 40, 50, 60, the times have changed. There is no more witch hunt. There is no more burning on the stakes, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen anymore because we're here now with too many. We are here now with too many, and I feel like this is the main difference that I want you to see. Even though you can say, yes, we went underground as a collective, but now is the time to rise up as a collective, to show up as a collective. So in history, what often happened, I feel like you had a village and there was one crazy one, or there was like one or a few witches, you know? The few crazy ones, so they could take them, kill them, whatever. The time that we're moving into, the time that we are already in, is the rising of all of us. Light beings, star seeds, multidimensional beings, whatever, everyone waking up. And so we're with too many, okay? We're literally with too many. No one can take us down. And also there is no us versus another. But just know and just see this image that it's not just you speaking up and being on a stage and being killed. That's not happening anymore. Just see that you're part of a collective wave that's happening. You are one expression, one part, one messenger of that. And if you speak up, I speak up, you speak up, you speak up, you speak up, you speak up, it just ripples and ripples. Okay, just had to say that apparently. Whew. So I've been called for a while now actually to create a space where we can share these memories and where we can do more of a, I call it collective purge, and truly rewrite the story, rewrite the storyline. Again, like when you create a contracts, vows, a karmic loop, we need to change the dial, change the trajectory, that's a hard word if you're not native English speaker. Change the trajectory. So even though this past lifetime has happened, you're not continue to live that out. It doesn't have to be active anymore in your system. It literally can be part of your past, but now you're in another timeline, literally another lifetime, and you don't take any of that into your future. So given that, just want to give a small update about tea time. You might have heard about tea time or not, but for the last weeks I've been creating this gathering on Friday evening, European time, Friday evening, called tea time. And it seemed just like this very innocent space for people to come together, have tea together, but what I was starting to see that it was actually that kind of secret operation of multidimensional beings, light workers coming together, and it literally has now moved into, and more consciously and intentionally has become, a space for beings to come together who also know they're here to be part of the shift and to be part of creating the new earth, and for us to 1 week look at how can we express and embody more of our highest truth, and other weeks more look at envisioning, downloading, co-creating the new earth. So just want to mention that for those of you who might or might not have heard of tea time. But this week, this Friday, the theme is about embodying and expressing our highest truth, but I feel very strongly right now that I want it to be about this topic. This week on Friday, tea time is going to be about these past lifetime memories and having a collective space. That means an amplified group field to bring up everything that's still lingering in our system individually and collectively, and to clear it, to purge that, to release any bonds, strings, vows, and contracts that have been made, and to rewrite the storyline. That means to step into another timeline, to step into that next layer of your expression and of your life, where none of these things are active anymore, where none of these things hold you back, so that you can truly express your highest truth and embody your essence. So, that was it. This Facebook Live brought up a lot of energy in me. I feel like I've been releasing energy by sweating and burping already before the call. It feels really good. I'm super excited to dive deeper into this with any of you who feel called to be a part of that. Just reach out to me. Tea time is free. This Friday it most likely will be truly donation based, because it will be good work that will be done. And if you're watching this now or later, please, love to hear from you. Either whatever this sharing evokes within you, any memories you dare to share. You can also do that privately in a private message. No, it's okay to keep that private for now. And yeah, that's it. My wish for all of us is to truly stop the hiding, to truly come out of the closet, and to just be who we are without any hesitation, without any feeling or sense of a block or a limit or anything holding us back. We are free, and now it's truly about all of that, bringing it down into our physical bodies, into our physical expression. Thank you, Margot. So much love to you all.